Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. My name is Raven, and today we are just going to be hanging out in my office, finally finishing the slightly cursed skirt and just trying to rein in my inner chaos a little bit. Starting off, it was a really nice and cloudy day. I love rainy days, but they make my brain fog worse and can affect some of my nerve-related pains, so I knew it was going to be a day that wasn't going to be crazy productive, and it would probably get hard to film as the day went on. I made myself some hot tea and told myself to just be gentle and just get what I can done and to just enjoy the process. I've really been looking forward to rainy days in my office because now almost every workstation I have is set up and angled to have a view of the windows, but we haven't had almost any rainy days since I rearranged my office, except for on the weekends when I'm not in my office. I'm sure we'll have some summer thunderstorms not too long from now, but until then, it's just mostly cloudy days with like light showers that I can't even hear through the windows. Before I could get anything out to work on, I really needed to clean my crafting space. These two desks are kind of a drop station for projects and supplies that don't have homes, as well as the spot that I do my sewing and my nails and anything that I don't want to do at my computer desk for any reason. I'm trying to get the office to the point where everything has a home, but I really need a lot more storage systems and solutions for that to be possible. But even if I did have a space for everything, I think it would still be a drop station. It'd just be easier to actually clean when it came time to do so, which would still be nice and still be an improvement. Once the room was a little bit less overwhelming, I got on my computer to do a bit of planning. I used Notion template that I've made and tweaked over time to help me block out the upcoming week. This week in particular, I was feeling a little out of sorts, like all of my projects were falling through the cracks and just getting out of control. A little worse than usual. I did my normal weekly template and I still felt really off, so I tried to write some of my projects on sticky notes, which was basically a reminder to myself that I don't like using physical planner tools anymore. And I basically just threw them away immediately after filming, putting them up. They bothered me. I didn't want them there. I think the combination of the weather making my brain a little foggier and it being almost the end of the month, so it was almost time to do like my little monthly refresh, just had me feeling extra unfocused. I've been feeling that way fairly often over the last month and have recently pulled back on my upload schedule to see if giving myself a bit more breathing room will help me to get my bearings. It's one of those things that I know is not in my control and isn't morally weighted, but it still makes me angry because I feel like it gets so in the way of the things that I want to do and reinforces the imposter syndrome that I have about being a content creator. And this probably sounds dumb, but the sewing and crochet projects I've been working on taking forever to finish has just made me a little more irritated with myself. I don't know if anyone else needs to hear this, but you're still a valid crafter, creator, maker, artist, whatever you want to call yourself if your projects take forever. It feels like most people online who run creative brands are getting intricate projects and designs done week after week, and like that's the minimum standard, but making things by yourself doesn't need to be like a factory system. It's more than okay for a project to be done in the tiniest increments over very long stretches of time, for a project to be put on the back burner for a while, or for you to just be creating at a slower pace. If you're under the impression that you should be getting projects done at a specific rate to qualify as a maker, and you have too much on your plate to make things at a steady pace, I'd like to remind you that I have no kids, no real job, and I have an abundance of free time, and this skirt has taken me like over 3 months to get through, and it's not even a good skirt. My other skirts took less time and were arguably better, but it still counts as a project. When I wear it, I don't have to put on a disclaimer to anyone that it took me 60 times longer to make than it may have taken someone with a sewing channel to do. So it's not a real skirt. There's nothing wrong with the people who create content where they challenge themselves to complete an awesome thing in a short span of time. I love watching that content, and I can understand from the creator's point of view why they create that content. I just want to remind anyone who needs to hear it that you don't need to match the pace to be a real maker. The wonderful and beautiful thing about making things ourselves is that it's entirely our own journey and process. There isn't a step-by-step regimen we need to follow to be creative. It can go in any direction that sparks our interest at any pace that feels right. Maybe we're running at full speed and frolicking, or maybe we're just walking slowly and having a rabbit run under our desk while we were, or maybe we were walking slowly and looking at every single detail around us. Neither direction or pace is right or wrong. They are just what they are. All of that said, it was time to work on the cursed skirt. I was near the finish line, but the finish line was the biggest time sucks of the whole project. The hem and the buttons themselves aren't necessarily the worst time suck, but the hem of a circle skirt absolutely is. And I should add that after I pressed the hem of the skirt, which is not my first garment, it finally occurred to me to look up videos of how other people do hems and discovered that I've been doing them inefficiently and wrong this whole time, which isn't surprising, but now I have a hem ruler for the next time, so I'm still happy about the improvement of my skills. For the buttonholes, I wanted to try this technique that I've seen on Pinterest where you sew a bit of scrap fabric to the front of the garment, sew in the shape that you want the hole to be, snip the center, and then flip it so that the scrap fabric is on the back and you have a crisp hole fold in the front. I didn't think to do a trial run before trying this on the garment itself, so there's an obvious difference in how well the first hole and the second hole came out. I think I'll do this again in the future because I like how the second hole came out a good bit, and I did go over the first hole with like some zigzag stitch to try and tidy it up and make it less fragile. I sewed the buttons on by hand since that's how I originally learned, and the buttonhole foot kind of scares me. Honestly, I do like adding a bit of hand sewing in where I can just relax on the couch and not hear the sewing machine running. Typing the script, it made me realize that the sewing machine might be a bit of a sensory heavy hobby, more heavy than I realized. So hooray for self-reflection during our content. Once the button situation was good enough, I needed to deal with the hem. My only goal was to just get the hem trimmed and pressed because I know that pressing, especially when you're pressing fabric the wrong way, like I was, takes forever and is hell on my back. And once it's done sewing it, it's a breeze. So pressing the skirt wasn't as bad as the previous skirts because I had my desk to iron on. If you saw my previous vlogs, you know that I was sitting with the little tabletop ironing board on the floor. It's amazing how much of a difference a decent work surface can make for your spine when your spine is the shape of a question mark. I think that's why I'm always confused. I did a better job of sticking to my cutoff time this week, and when I was sewing, I just curled up to read some manga. It was way too wet and muggy to go outside, but I like how cozy my office is at night, so I've been enjoying the evenings in here too, and going outside if I feel like it and if the weather permits. The rest of the night was pretty quiet. I was worn out from sewing and I just wanted to relax. I think I just run out of spoons for the day. you so much for watching. Let me know you stayed until the end by leaving a cactus emoji in the comments. Subscribe for more cozy vlogs. I hope you are having a wonderful day or that tomorrow is better, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!